evening. Herman Cain's run for the White House. He's on life support tonight. Never a good sign when a candidate says he's reassessing his campaign. But he's still out there tonight making a foreign policy speech in Michigan.
Apathy, not being involved, not staying informed, not staying inspired is a threat to the future of this great nation. But it's up to us, and especially the younger generation, to do something about it.
Despite his confident performance tonight, it seems unlikely that candidate Cain can stay in the race much longer after one claim of a long-time affair and several accusations of sexual harassment still hanging over him. Here to answer that big question is Niger Innis, a senior advisor to the Cain campaign, and Amy Holmes, news anchor for Glenn Beck's The Blaze. Thank you both for joining me. Niger, let me start with you. I mean, when a candidate starts telling supporters it's time for a reassessment, it's over, isn't it?
No, not at all. First of all, let me say, Piers, thank you for having me on the show tonight. It's good to be on with my friend Amy Holmes. But let me say, first of all, the Cain train is moving full steam ahead. Just today, I'm broadcasting from Nevada, my home state. He filed his fees and he filed his papers to be on the ballot in Nevada on February 4th. He's in over 10 states he's filed. The Herman Cain train is moving full steam ahead. He is on the ballot. He will be on the ballot in all of the early states. He's got precinct captains in Iowa ready to nominate him. The Herman Cain train is moving full steam ahead, and I think that's not only healthy for Herman Cain, who I obviously support, it's healthy not just for the Republican Party, but it's healthy for the citizens' movement that was unleashed in 2010 with the Tea Party revolution, which was a pox on both the establishment's houses, the Republican establishment and the Democratic establishment, that this man of the people, this man not of the establishment, will not be scared away.
But here's the problem, I would say, Niger, and that's an impassioned defence of your man. I'd expect nothing else. And he's certainly very charismatic, and he's clearly trying to stay in the race here. But the money is beginning to ebb away, as are his poll ratings. And the reason is quite obvious. He's been hit by a succession. This train has hit buffer after buffer of sexual allegations, which are clearly turning off a lot of conservatives, and female conservatives in particular.
Well, let's be careful here. I mean, the epitaph was, you know, the R.I.P. was written on his tombstone when the first incredible allegations from an incredible figure, Miss Bialek, came out, and actually his fundraising went up. His poll numbers had sustained. And look, in this case, according to your poll, the CNN poll, he's still in a neck-and-neck dogfight with Mitt Romney and with Newt Gingrich. And let me tell you something. I think it would be a real tragedy for our country if we have a new standard for minority conservatives or for women conservatives whose characters get shredded by the establishment media, who the character assassination is relentless, and now you have a new standard. There's no DNA on a blue dress here. There's no love child out of wedlock here. All right, there's no charge of sexual assault is in the books here.
Let me jump in.
These are allegations.
Let me put to you then one thing. You know Herman Cain better than I do. You know him better than a lot of people. This woman is not just making. Okay, and I've interviewed him once, so you're ahead of the game on me on this about his character, his personality, and the kind of man he is. Here's the killer question. This woman says they had a 13-year affair. Are you 100% confident? You, his close friend, his advisor, are you 100% confident that she is simply inventing a 13-year affair?
Piers, I'm not 100% confident that when I walk out of this building, I'm not going to get struck by lightning. But I find it highly unlikely. I've talked to Herman. I've seen Herman. I've seen him absolutely deny this. And I find frankly, I find holes in her story. I find it a little strange and unusual that, let's presume, I don't think it's true. I think it's wrong. I think it's a lie. But let's presume it's true. I find it a little strange and unusual that a person, according to her testimony, that was treated so wonderfully by Herman Cain would be part of the character assassination and destroying this man's, not only his political candidacy, but his entire character. I find it very strange and unusual, and I do not believe her. I believe Herman Cain.
Okay, let's bring in Amy Holmes. Same question to you, Amy. Do you believe this woman's story? I mean, there are a few holes in it that are beginning to emerge. We haven't heard the full account yet or what evidence she has. Herman Cain's denial could not have been more emphatic. Who do you believe?
You know, I have no way of knowing who to believe in all of this. And if she is a fantasist, if she invented a 13-year-long affair with Herman Cain, I would imagine Herman Cain must be pretty angry that any nut can go on Atlanta local television and make these sort of charges and accusations, and as Niger put it, character assassination. But I have no idea the truth of this matter. But what I do know about it is your campaign is in a pretty bad spot when you have to invoke stained blue dresses and love children, and you're not talking about the issues. And Niger, he mentioned that Herman Cain has been the non-establishment candidate, and in this sort of circumstance, this is hurting him because he doesn't have an establishment to rally around him and defend him, as they did, say, with Bill Clinton, with that blue stained dress, and the entire Democratic Party trying to protect their man in the White House. So I think the problem here is that Herman Cain is asking a lot of his supporters, of his voters, and potential constituents to be able to support him through each one of these accusations. And on top of that, he's been stumbling when it comes to foreign policy. So I think all of this is really weighing down his candidacy, and we'll see what his campaign says about fundraising. But will he have the money even to be able to take this all the way to Iowa, to pay his staff, to pay the travel?
Niger,
you said the funds are drying up.
Let me jump in again. Niger, I mean, the problem here for Herman Cain is the sheer volume of allegations, isn't it? I mean, one or two you could brush off as disaffected women, but are you really going to look the American public in the eye collectively as a team and say every one of these women is a fantasist?
No, what I am going to say is this. I don't want to focus on the woman. I don't want to besmirch their character in the way that they and a machine has besmirched Herman's character. What I will say is that there are some very powerful forces out there, and they're not just the liberals in the White House. There are conservative establishment forces out there that, quite frankly, have nothing but contempt for the Tea Party. They want their vote, they want their energy, but they don't really want them at the table helping to make decisions and shape a platform.
But Niger, hold on. If that were the case...
Let me just finish this one point, Amy. And there are folk among the liberal establishment that very much know that for Barack Obama to win re-election, he has to divide and conquer. He has to use the race card, use the class warfare card, and Herman Cain's relevance in this campaign undermines that agenda and that initiative. And these women, I believe, are manifestations of that plan.
Here's the problem, though, with that conspiracy theory, which is if this is about trying to sideline or in some way delegitimize a figure of the Tea Party movement, then Michelle Bachmann, who is the leader of the Tea Party caucus in the House, she would be facing these bizarre, wild, fantastical accusations, just as Herman Cain. Unfortunately for Herman Cain, he's the only person in this race at this moment who's having these people come forward to make these types of accusations against him. And, you know, face it, GOP voters have other options which they may consider, other conservative options, other non-Romney options that don't come with this type of baggage.
The character assassinations are not limited to Herman Cain. Michelle Bachmann, just on NBC, on this entertainment program, had an atrocious thing done to her that would never have held muster if it had been done against Michelle, the First Lady, Michelle Obama, or Hillary Clinton. There is absolutely, Amy, and Amy, you know this, there's a double standard when it comes to minority conservatives and women conservatives.
Disgusting.
Niger.
It was.
It's my show.
Yes, sir.
It's my show. Niger, fall back in line.
Yes.
Here's what confused me yesterday. I admire your passionate defense, but here's what confused me. At the precise moment that Herman himself went on television with Wolf Blitzer to reveal all this and talk in some detail about this, his lawyer was going elsewhere to the media saying, this is a private matter. No denial. No, this didn't happen. This is a private matter. It's consensual, etc., etc. That's weird, isn't it? I mean, why would a lawyer say the same thing that he's saying?
No, first of all, the lawyer was doing his job as a lawyer. And he was saying that, first of all, this is an allegation. It is, my client says it's untrue, but it's an allegation, and it is quite different than what had been alleged, which was a sexual assault by an incredible person that gave incredible testimony by alongside an ambulance chaser, Gloria Allred. He was separating that and these so-called settlements from this allegation of a consensual relationship.
Niger, all the
he
more
was being a lawyer
why.
and making the distinction.
But Niger, all the more reason why did the lawyer issue a statement, since as you and everyone looking at this would say that there is no criminal accusation here. So why would a lawyer be putting out a statement at all, and why a lengthy one that is arguing that a person's private life should not be held up to scrutiny when running for elected office? That's a political statement, not a legal one. It was very confusing. And I would say, Niger, that once again, the Herman Cain campaign is at the very least disorganized, that you have the candidate making an unequivocal denial, unequivocal, and then you have his lawyer putting out a statement that sort of undermines that denial by suggesting that this is a private matter.
Amy, let me jump in, Amy. I have to wrap this up, but I want to ask Niger finally this, and it's a difficult question for you because you are a senior advisor to the team. If it turns out Herman Cain has been telling porky pies and has had an affair with this woman, would you then advise him to stand down?
I would advise that that is a blow that would be difficult to come back from. Yes, I would, but he has assured me that this allegation is untrue. And I think there is a larger question here, though, Piers. And I think that larger question is, do we have a new standard where you are guilt by accusation? I mean, if these charges, if we have this new standard, you might as well clear the halls of Congress. You might as well clear the staffers. 3/4 of our presidents would have never been in office. I mean, this is, there is no evidence here. There's no evidence here.
But I would say this is not a new standard. If you remember, the New York Times ran a very disgusting piece on John McCain below the fold front page, accusing McCain of having raised suspicions among his staffers. So unfortunately, I think it has more to do with conservatives than their shade or gender.
Well, it does. I'm going to have to leave it there, both of you. I've enjoyed...
Defend John McCain.
I have enjoyed... Okay, Niger, I have to leave it there. It's a fascinating debate. I think you have a good point that he is innocent until proven guilty, and the proof will be in the pudding, as we say. So let's wait and see. Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.